All right, welcome to our next show. Welcome to our next show. So we're getting ready for Emily to hop on, and I hope that you have enjoyed this summit so far. I am super excited to be back and be aligned here. I'm going to get this all shared here on YouTube. If you don't know me yet and you're just joining the summit, and you're seeing this replay, it means that the replays are still up. They'll be up for 72 hours, and then you can get the VIP if you'd like. In a few hours, I'll put the links to the replays, links below to reach everybody. But you definitely can look everybody up, Tarek BB, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and feel free to send them emails. Feel free to send them things and say, hey, I'm interested in that free gift. I'm interested in that thing. This is about connection. This is about learning. This is about you saying yes to your big dreams. So one of the big lies that that just keeps ticking in the world of coaching is you have to speak to one genre, one person. And as much as I want to say yes to that, because when it comes to marketing, it's absolutely true. When it comes to marketing, it's true. People need to know what you do and why you do it and how you do it. However, when it comes to your passions and your how and how you do things and what you're interested in and what you're selling and how you do it, you don't need to follow that at all. If I listened to that, I would have been a yoga instructor and thinking that that could save the world. And just being a yoga instructor, as much as I love yoga, didn't really help the people that were coming to me and saying, hey, when I was a kid, I was abused. I kept having people come to me and say that, and over and over and over again, to the point where I was like, well, obviously I need more support. They need more support. This is opening up their nervous system for healing, and now they're able to speak about it, right? It's in their mind, it's on the forefront of their mind, but now they're having all this emotional stuff come up. How do I deal with that? How do I help them with that? So I needed to help them holistically, and if I stuck to you have to do one thing at one time. The first time I did my coaching certificate or my yoga teacher certification at Twist Yoga, and the first time I put it online in 2010 at your own university, I would have been stuck there, right? But I knew it wasn't just that. I knew that there was going to be more. And so back in the day, hopefully Emily will be popping on here in a second, but back in the day, So back in the day, I was really coaching. I was doing EFT training. I was doing emotional intelligence training. I was in my master's program, and I was connected with this gentleman, and he was like, we're putting together this school, and I want you to come and teach at the school, and I love teaching. And that is actually how the Holistic Coaching Certification Program began at your own university. Well, in that teaching arena is where I met Emily. Emily is a multifaceted entrepreneur. She has been in everything and had her hands in everything. I can't wait for you to hear her story as she pops on here. Hello, love. And she's almost popping on. And let's see. And so she was talking about this, and I've watched her through the years from that. I think that was like 2018. It was Alexander's Grace. They were putting together this coaching certification program. Well, I started putting together a lot of the coaching curriculum. And that's where the beginning of the coaching curriculum came together, and I began certifying coaches. Well, that company eventually shut down, and I went in, hello, love. I went in and I created the Amazing You Systemology. It became a systemology as I went through school, and we became the holistic coaching training. But Emily and I met at Alexander's Grace, and she had one business then, and she's done different businesses. And now I would just finished up one of her programs, the flat tummy method, and she's gotten me up in the morning, like pulling in my belly and going into ease and like working out my belly and just getting myself back into my body. And you know, when I first met you, you were doing landscaping, right? You had landscaping.
Yeah, I had a landscaping business and then I sold that business. And then I went on. Is that what I was doing when we
I
first?
think that's when we first met. You were doing that, and then you were teaching about putting together like business plans or something like that, or like marketing or something at Alexander's Grace. And I remember taking your class, and as we were taking each other's classes, we were putting together the curriculum. And
Okay, so then I thought I'm gonna sell this landscaping business and do international business coaching. And then I fell into video and it sent me like pretty much all over the world. I really do believe if you write down where you want your life to be, it naturally just starts coming to you. Because
yeah.
honestly, before that, all I had done is I owned a jewelry business and landscaping business. So I was in the construction industry.
So I absolutely love this. So I was just, talking about you because you're the star of this hour. And I was talking about one thing I absolutely love about you, and the title of your talk is like just multi-passionate, multi-talented. Right? So many times when we go in the coaching industry, we're told you have to do one thing. And life doesn't always lead us to have one career. Your purpose, it seems, has been in the moment and in the thing that you're doing. I mean, even the other day, you were like, I want a bathroom.
Yeah, like a
I want
bathroom.
a bathroom. Yeah. And she takes this hammer. You guys can watch her YouTube, but or her Facebook. But she takes this hammer and she's like, I've always wanted my bathroom to be attached to my my bedroom, and I finally realized that this closet right here leads there. And she just went clunk and started busting down the wall. And when I look at you, I just see possibility, right? And that's what I really love about watching you in business. And so, just share with the audience, like, what inspired you to start coaching and helping people in this arena?
Well, basically, I had an epiphany. I invested everything into my landscaping business, and I got like this big office, and I started buying all this equipment, and I had a lot of employees, and I was sitting alone in the office, and I had an epiphany that I don't want to be here, or like this isn't where I'm meant to be. And then one of my employees walked in, and you know, as being a business owner, you have a lot of problems that you have to solve. And I was just finding that my employees' problems were like they couldn't come to work because their dishwasher didn't work that day, or like they were so miserable. And I was so fed up that I was like, I don't think I want to be. And then it was almost like the clients too were like, that brick's half an inch out of place, or like it wasn't perfect. And it was like all this complaining. And I was like, I don't want to be around these people anymore. Like, I want to be doing something that's helping people and making a difference and be around positive people. And I think that's what led me to the coaching industry. And I don't think I realized how hard it was going to be to start another business and let go of a current business, because yeah, cool, I sold a business that's awesome. But like, it was almost like I suffered the death of all my
Mm-hmm.
it's 11 years of everything. So like it's something that nobody really talks about or nobody warned me. And then
Yeah.
I remembered starting a business as being easy. So then I thought it was going to be really easy to start another business, and it wasn't. It was a shit show. And it is every time you start a business. But it's a self-development journey. Like the biggest
Yeah.
self-development journey you'll ever go on is starting and succeeding in a business. And I do keep doing it over and over and over again. Like
Yeah. It's just starting and completing and getting it to a place and finish it. Like it's just so many different, you've reinvented yourself in this so many times. So then, yes, you went into um, the executive marketing field, and I remember all those videos and you doing that. And I think that's when we got deeper into Alexander's Grace, and kind of that's where you were teaching us about that world. So what had you choose that step next, or did it choose you as far as your
oh,
expertise, your heart, and what
well,
to do?
I had gone to a self-development seminar, and then I kind of wanted to be like the host of the self-development seminar that I went to. I ended up signing up for like a year-long coaching program with him. But it was a lot harder to get into. And like, I'm in it now and it seems easy, or it flows easy, like easier. But his name was Josh Hayward. He's still a coach. He was from Canada, but he moved to California. But he's the one that really inspired me to get out of what I was doing. And I think it was more like, landscaping is all I thought I was worth at the time. So like that's
Okay.
what I'm told by my parents is like I wanted to be a dentist. But they're like, no, you couldn't go to school for that long. You can't do that. Pick something easy. Like you could do dirty landscaping. But I've never wanted to be a worker. I've always wanted to own my own business. So um, that's really like all I was worth at the time. So, and I posted a video today, or like a little post, because Brad has an excavator home and I know how to operate heavy equipment. And, but I don't want to mess up my nails now. But I did get in it and scoop and put it on the trailer. And I'm like, I know how to do it. Because you know how to do something doesn't mean that's
That
what
you
you're,
have to do it.
yeah.
So what was the shift in your worth? Like what was that shift?
Going to that self-development seminar, the shift, that's a good question. I would say just the 3 days that I spent immersed in self-development, just knowing and seeing the possibility of he got us to do a lot of exercises about like, what do you really want to do? Like if it
Mm-hmm.
didn't matter, nobody else's opinion mattered. And again, I went on and did a year of coaching with him, and he'd say like, what's something that scares you? And I'm like, he actually, this was like 10 years ago. He got me to do a post on Facebook with me putting my two middle fingers up. And I was like, I could never post that. He's like, post it, Emily. You have to stop not giving a shit what people
Yeah.
think. That he really helped me a lot. Self-development's amazing.
Yeah. So the self-development you went into. And then, so you said just a second ago, which I didn't know, you said, well, now you're in that world. So are you still doing executive coaching?
I do, but right now it's only flat tummy. So fitness coach, which is
Right. So now she went, okay, so then you guys, so yeah. So I think there was a couple things in between there. And you had a couple more children. She's a mama. She's a mother, very hands-on mama. And then you got into getting back fit. And that's, I mean, I've noticed you the whole time, but that's when I was like, huh, because you had the baby weight on on you still and everything. And she was out in the middle of the snow in her bikini and just like not giving a shit, practicing what you learned, right? From your mentor. And then you got into pole dancing and reclaiming this femininity and all of this. And then now you have your business when it's a flat tummy method, which is super simple, super beautiful, and totally has motivated me differently just in the month that I joined and I've been joined. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why do we overcomplicate things so much?
Yeah, nothing overcomplicated. So I spent most of my life being told that I'm a hard worker and I have to work hard until it became an addiction. So I was working 80 hours a week and it was me. And when I had my first daughter, I thought, this is stupid. I had to drop her off at daycare 7 a.m. I didn't pick her up till 5:30. I was exhausted. I was dirty. I was stressed out. I wasn't paying any attention to her. She was 6 months old or 8 months old when she had to go to daycare. And I would cry every single time I had to drop her off. And I thought, doing this. And then I kept being told by the people around me, well, you own a business. You have to do this. This is what you have to do. And then I thought, why do I have to do anything? Especially as a woman who just had a baby. Why do I have to drop my kid off so somebody else I don't even know can look after her? It just didn't make any sense to me. So I started slowly getting away from that. So I went from 80 hours to 40 hours to 20 hours to 5 hours. And right now I only work 20 minutes a day. That's it. Like I almost have to force myself to work at this point. And the thing is, if you have a standard, you can just figure it out. So if you're working right now 40 hours a week and you drop it down to 30, you might struggle a little bit at first, but what's going to happen is you have a standard already in your life that you like. So you're just naturally going to figure it out. So from 40 to 30 hours, you might stumble a little bit, but you'll figure out how to make the money elsewhere just by
doing. You're saying one thing, we need to set standards. So if you don't have standards, listen to Emily. Like, set your friggin' standards. For me, I'm just getting I have standards, and literally as I contemplate my move, I was like, oh, I have to go here, and I was lowering my standards, and I was like, no. Like my brain went, no, you don't. No. This is the level that you live at. This is where you're comfortable. This is what you want. This is what you'll get. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, it hasn't manifested yet, but
and
you might have low standards, so raise your standards.
Right. But also, this is what I've been dealing with for the last couple of years. Like when you get into the point where you have to choose, do you want this or that? Well, why can't you just have both? Because you were probably we were taught, like, do you want this one or that one? Well, I want both, so I'm going to have both.
Yeah. And that's why you can do all of these careers, right? You don't have to be just an executive coach or just a landscaper or just a construction woman or just a pole dancer or not a strippy pole dancer, but she's hot, and fitness pole dancer, or just a flat tummy mama.
You always
method.
I have to pivot because I fall out of love with things sometimes. Like I'm like, I don't like that anymore. So I move over here and then I do that for a little while. And then like, it's nice to have a lot of different things. I do though suggest, especially like when I had my landscaping business, it was really successful. You do have to really focus on one thing that's making you money before you want to take on other things. Like just don't take on 20 different things at once. Be successful with something.
So you're successful with one thing, and then you can pivot and be successful in another thing. Then you pivot and you can be successful in another thing.
Yeah, I do really
okay.
Airbnb, rentals, something that's going to keep, or a membership group, something that will bring in some type of income monthly. But it's not always, every single business is like, it hits its high peak and then it will go down to, it's all over the place. Every single business, every business, there is no like perfect business that keep giving you money all the time.
It is what it is. So what is the biggest piece? I mean, you've given a lot of pieces of advice already, but what are the biggest pieces of advice that you'd give somebody, kind of looking at maybe the job that's always been this, just they're dreading going to work. They don't want to be there, right? And they have this heart calling or this interest over here, but they're scared to take that leap or scared to cut their hours, or they have some story going on, or they want to try something different. All the things you just talked about. Like, what is your biggest pieces of advice for them?
I would say, like, when you know, you know. So
Okay.
when I start something new, I know it's going to be successful. So it might not, like, it might take a long time, or it could take months to be successful, but I don't give up on it. Like, I know, and I just keep going forward. So I don't let anything knock me down. So it might temporarily knock you down something, but then you get back up. Because if you actually really believe you can be successful in something, then
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be successful. If you have doubt or you abandon it, you're not going to be successful in it. So you do have to pick something and then just keep it. It is trudging forward. Like, it's not easy. It's like just trudging forward, because they say entrepreneurs solve 200 problems a day. Once you become comfortable in the business you're in, you're going to solve those problems easily, but then you're going to get bored. You're going to want to do something new. So then your new thing is going to bring up new problems, and you're not going to solve them as quickly. So it's going to bring up new shitty feelings. Like, we all have the dominant feelings. Like, mine's I'm a loser, and it just keeps coming back. Like, and then I can combat it really quickly now. But like, if I start something new, that's probably going to come up again. And then just getting through it. You just, like I said, you just trudge forward, really.
I love that. Okay, so what I'm hearing, so we can break it down so people can take notes, is one, when you're in the thing, focus on it and believe in it. Believe in it. And there will be moments, there'll be times where it feels like it's not going to happen and you're going to be trudging forward, but you solve those problems and you move forward and you keep believing in it. It's when we pivot and change. One thing that I know, messed my business up for years is I was so scared of it, of not being provided for, because I didn't have the other stream of income, right? That I would get like 16 different jobs. I'd open up to new options. And the moment that I said, you know what, no more options. This is my mission. This is what I've done. This is what I've invested 30,000 years in, $300,000 in. Like, this is my everything. Like, this is what I do. This is where I'm going. That's when the business took off. That's when I didn't have to have 10 other jobs, but I had to quit going to yoga class. I mean, I had to give up everything. Everything was going, don't do it, don't do it. And it was like pulling weeds out of my heart. I remember when I quit finally teaching yoga was my last, but the second that I let that go, my clients showed up, people showed up, everybody I needed, right? That I helped that month. And I was like, oh, but it was that belief. Right. So we have the scarcity thing that I hear that you work through. And I just interviewed Tara Keep, does clearings around clearing that. And it's like this belief thing. And the other piece is when you're doing it, believe in what you're doing and just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep moving forward.
Yeah. So what are some things that you've seen your clients do or you do that have been really good at creating that sustainability. You said membership programs, you said Airbnbs, you said real estate, that just, the living expenses. So then you can move from multi-passionate purpose and creative purpose to creative purpose until it's successful.
You have to kind of, I know I hear this a lot, is like the different seasons. And I thought that was kind of corny and I didn't like it, but there are definitely different seasons for business, and it may be different for everyone. But something I've noticed, like the Airbnb made in 3 months, like really quickly. And that was like my side hustle. So my side hustle made like major bank like by mistake. Just like a lot of times I go towards the thing because I'm curious, because at the time I was doing a money mastermind, and I had some my money mastermind for 6 months, and she paid $3,000 to take a Airbnb course. And like, I just could not wrap my head around what was taking so long. So I was like, how long can it take to sign up for Airbnb? So I was just curious. I signed up in 15 minutes, 24 or 48 hours later, I had my first booking. I made my first $400. And I was like, oh shit, I have to like turn my house into the Airbnb because they're coming in 2 weeks. And then it's like pressure. And then it was like rapid. So like, I think a lot of like, I don't know what my client's mindset block is, because I couldn't get through it. But I was like, I had to go see for myself with that particular business. That took off. And then I just naturally go into a flow. And then I did the flat tummy at the same time, ran the rental property, did like, sometimes it just flows. Sometimes it'll just come by mistake. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like I watched a thing with Mark Cuban the other day, and the lady that owns Spanx, and both of them said like, it is hard work, but sometimes you just hit a jackpot and get lucky, then you just ride the wave.
Yeah. So it's kind of looking out for that wave, following your curiosities. And I think that's what I've done too. Like as I healed myself and I've helped people heal, sometimes it's just like I have a dream and it's like, oh, that's going to help them. And then I go and take it to them and they're like, they have a big breakthrough, right? That happens all the time. I just get like this download of, do that, or curiosity. And you just run with it. And I feel like my business built itself backwards. Like I did everything backwards. Like I built the training with you at Alexander's Grace way before I was ready to do the training. I'm just ready now, right? Like I've led it since 2018, and now I'm like, okay, we'll launch it today. Like 24, but there's a time, there's that season, there's that time that comes around it. So you're doing this flat tummy method right now. That's your thing. And I know I get to be on your summit next week, and we get to talk about it, and I'm super excited about it. But in all of these things that you've done as you shift, what would you say the biggest obstacle for you, or maybe for your clients, that you see when it comes to pushing through, or in business in general? Like, what do you think?
Oh, it's being comfortable. So right now, like even during my own flat tummy method, I hit a plateau in my own weight loss, and then started to creep up again. But I have like, I won't go past a certain ceiling, but everyone has like, I hit my goal and I was good. And then I'm like, now what? Because I don't know what is, and I see this with my clients too. Once you hit your goal, what's the next goal? And then that can seem kind of scary. So like weight loss wise, I did the same thing, and it's not a big deal because it's only like a couple pounds. and I'm all right with it. But then my weight went up a couple pounds, but I'll never let it go past the ceiling. Like it goes with your money or anything. Like everyone has like a money ceiling. They don't make past this amount of money. I think I mentioned it in our group, the biggest leap, or I can't.
Yeah, the Biggest Leap, the Gay Hendricks book, The Biggest Leap. Yeah, the glass ceiling.
Like you hit your weight. Now what? Like, and then so I don't think it's a bad thing to just then lean back and forget everything for a little while. So like I do 90-day stints. So I'll do something for days, and then I have a down period. And I'm not too like picky on how long that down period could be, a week or 2 weeks, but like we need like a rest period to daydream and think, what do we want next? And don't worry if your bank account goes down a little or your weight goes up a little, because you're never going to go back to where you were unless you choose that. But of course, you don't want it because now you have a new normal. But like, just take your rest period, daydreams. What do you want next? For now, every 90 days, like there is nothing in my closet I like right now. I'm like, who is this person? I look back on things like, one of my favorite mentors says that the person you were a year ago should embarrass the person you are today. So when you look back at your Facebook memories from a year ago, and it is true, I look back and I'm like, who was that person?
Yeah.
Whole thing is like just becoming a new person, and that you're able to do that every 90 days.
I love that. I love recreation. My mom's listening. She said that I'm 77 years and pole dancing is such a great workout. If the pole is real stable, it opens the creativity and breaks a sweat. Hooray for the lymphatic system. Right? It's so healthy. I honestly haven't done it before, but I will. I want it. I keep talking about it. I'm like, how do I get a pole? My walls are this way. I want to go to a thing. I think when I get down to Florida, I know that there's gonna be more opportunities for studios, right? And places for that where you can go and play, and I'm excited for that. I don't have to create everything myself. But another piece is I like the leaning back, because I think that when like the money goes down, or we have the big breakthrough, and then like, well, where's my next client coming, or where's, what do I do now? I think that we forget to be satisfied.
Yeah.
And I think that would practice just like being satisfied with like, I had this experience, and then the next inspiration or curiosity can come to do the next thing.
But doesn't always come in the everyday. You have to go outside of the way
your comfort zone.
Yeah. So like that's pretty much like the easiest way that I have found that you can like create something or like figure out what's next is to just move your house around. Like move your room to a different room, clean, look at things differently, because then it's always going to cause you, like when you get out of bed to go to the bathroom, you're going to have to like really think about, now where do I go? Right. And so it like fires your brain. Again, it will like take you a step or two backwards anytime you do something new, but then it's getting you to be more aware. Often I find it causes you to go back into a little bit of depression, can cause a little bit of anxiety, but then it's like a growth thing.
Yeah.
You remanage and recalibrate your emotions, and then you're stronger.
I'm like ding, 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 because of this summit. So like 2 days ago, I was kind of in that funk. Yesterday, I got myself out and I went hiking just to get out of it, and make myself stop working. But there's so much work that comes into a summit or launching a program or programs itself or anything, or work, creating anything. And I got into that funk. I got into that, I'm all alone, it's all me and blah, blah, blah. And this depression. And then now I'm like, now that we're in it, like I'm on the wave, I'm like, woohoo, I'm so happy. Like this is so much fun. I want to do this every day, right? But there's that period of time where you go into it right before you birth, right before the butterfly comes out of and we forget about that. I forgot about that. I remember feeling like I'm so tired, and then I had to go change things up, work things out. I straightened my hair, I cut my hair, I colored my hair. like things just have to change. Yeah.
It's good. That's good. It got you to like be more self-aware.
Yeah, that's exact. And I didn't even think about it until you said it, and I was like, oh, yes. So we need that. You're saying like that's normal. That's what we need, especially right before you go into a big creative project, or you're going into your next thing, or you're launching a program, or you're launching something. There's
Yeah.
that. It's okay to go in the insecurity. It's okay to go in that. I have to be self-aware.
Almost doomsday, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like everything's terrible, everything's falling apart. Like that's what happens before before the good happens.
And when you think about like doing a house or ripping up a yard or like any of those things, it's the same thing. We got to rip it down before we put it. This is brilliant. I haven't thought about, I don't know, like sometimes it's just like this little tweak that we have, and it's like, oh, of course, even though I've heard it, many times. I love it. All right, so we're going to go into questions. If you guys have any questions, if you're on YouTube, I know you're lagging a little bit behind, but go ahead and put your questions there if you're joining in from there. If you have any questions for Emily here on Zoom. So Emily, who do you like to work with right now? I know that you have your flat tummy method. Like, who is it for? And tell us a little bit more about it.
Mainly, the flat tummy method is for burnt out nurses, health practitioners, doctors that have focused, or even stay-at-home moms or overworked moms who have focused on everybody else and just neglected themselves. So I say they often get stuck in their head and then forget about the rest of their body until one day they look in the mirror and they don't like what they see anymore. And they want a quick way to bring it back. And this is the fastest way I found, because that's what happened to me. So I had two more babies. I had 3 kids. I was like, yes, that was my dream, like barefoot in the kitchen with my babies, breastfeeding, but I wasn't taking care of myself at all. Yeah. So it's basically for people who neglected themselves for so long, who want to bounce back quickly. And you really can bounce back quickly, but not as a fad diet, as something that will carry you through the rest of your life and serve.
And it starts with 3 minutes a day.
No, 60 seconds.
60 seconds. Well, 3 exercises. I won't tell. But 60 seconds. I mean, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And I was excited to join. I mean, I watched your transformation. I'm like, I just need some support. I mean, and you guys, I'm a nutritionalist. I am a yoga teacher and yoga trainer and everything. Like, I'm all that. And I know all this stuff, right? But sometimes you just need to take somebody's hand and have some inspiration. And I was like, I'm curious about this. I was already working on like how trauma is affecting my body, and I went through radiation, stuff like that. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll be too tired for this. But every single day, Emily, I'm like, I'm up and I'm doing it. And some days it was in the kitchen in the middle of the night, right? Sometimes it's like when I remember it. I can't say I've been perfect every morning, like a good girl, but it just works. And I absolutely love you for it. So how can people find it and find you?
Emily's flattummymethod.com, or you could go to theflattummy.com.
Perfect. So Emily's flattummymethod.com, yes, or the Flat Tummy Method Summit, or Flat Tummy Summit?
Yeah, Flat Tummy Summit.
Cool. And I'm going to be talking about trauma and weight and the adrenals and all of that on that summit. So that's really cool. And that's next week, isn't it?
Yes, starts on March 21st.
Yay! Yay! I love that. So what would be the biggest piece of advice that you would give somebody wanting to follow multiple passions, or maybe somebody said, well, you can't do that, right? You can't do that like you were told. Like, what would be your advice for them?
Um, I don't know if I would follow because everyone told me I couldn't open a landscaping business and because I was too girly and this and that. And like, so I followed something that I didn't want to prove something. So I don't know if that's always a good thing is like someone tells you can't do something that you
Yeah.
should do it. I'm not sure. um, but
It
my
paid well for a while, it sounds like.
it went
Taught you a lot.
it brought me far, but I was like, I don't really like this. Isn't me. I've
Mm,
never wanted to do it. So, my advice for multi-passionate people is create whatever works for you. So I create all these weird little like acronyms and different things, and they work for me. So I have like 1, 2, 3, which is like I take care of myself, my kids, my business. I might take care of myself for 30 seconds, take care of my kids for 30 seconds, work on my business for 30 seconds. I might take care of myself for 24 hours, hang out with my kids for 24 hours, and then only work on my business. Like only 3 priorities. If you have
yeah.
more than priorities, you have no priorities. But you really have to
Okay.
create a system that works for you. And
Mm-hmm.
some cut out all the noise because I still get trapped in the noise of like, get this system or this is going to work. And it's like, pick and choose what works, but then each person's different. So you're going to have to find what works for you
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And it's true. It's true. It's so unique. All right. Well, anything else before we sign off? Thank you so much for being a part of Meant for More. I love watching your career. I adore you. I've adored working with you. Anything else?
Thank you for letting me come on and speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Anybody else have questions or anything? Any comments you want Miss Emily to know?
that's
Kind of
okay.
quiet, but they're good. They're good. They're listening. They're there. They're coming on. We have the replays up on YouTube if you want to share it. And then everything that we share is going to be in the VIP. So if they get the VIP, they can get that, and they're invited to our 3-day event to activate their system and their authenticity called Rediscover Me. And so they get lots for VIPing if you want to share it there, and just a wealth of knowledge. I friggin' love your career. I love you, and thank you.
Go with the kids, but thank you so much for having
You're
me.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye, hon. All right. So everybody on YouTube, welcome. Oh my gosh. Like, what did you think about that? We're told so often that we have to do one thing. And I loved her advice of focusing and believing in one thing until it's successful and letting that thing support you as you shift into another passion. And so it keeps your interests happening. It keeps your heart happening. It keeps your life fascinating, it seems like. And it just feels real. So I hope that you really enjoyed Emily. Next we have Raquel. Now Raquel I found on a Facebook group when I was first learning about human design. And she actually has reinvented, her and her partner, her and her husband, have reinvented a next leveled human design. I'm so honored to have her on here. She's just going to be a wealth of knowledge. If you don't know about human design, it is a system that is different from astrology, and but it does go off of your birthday and stuff like that, but it explains energy centers. So we've really started the day off with your energy and your emotions and what that works. We talked about your voice and your movement. We talked about your passions and your money and how that works and clearing your energy fields, right? And this next talk is going to be about who you are and bringing it all together and the openings of your energy field. And I don't know who I could have on here that is more knowledgeable about human design. I know I'm going to learn a ton. So we're going to take about a 20-minute break on YouTube. We'll be back here in about 20 minutes at the top of the hour for our final interview of today. We're going to be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Alaska time, 10 Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern, and we're going to dive into more of the nuts and bolts tomorrow around this. All of these things are about you, right? About you living your purpose, you stepping into your next level, you saying yes, and discovering what you need to learn in order to make your business, your mission, your heart purpose possible and profitable. And there's different blocks, different things that get in the way that we don't talk about if you're just going to go to a business course or a marketing course and the fundamentals of what we learn in college around business and writing a business plan. Those are surface layer. And I started when I was 10 years old, shoveling stables and making money. I've always been an entrepreneur. My mother's an entrepreneur. My grandpa was an entrepreneur. I've been surrounded by entrepreneurs. And there's that ebb and flow, like Emily talked about, that's so important to understand. And there's so much more to clearing the way, to clearing yourself, to being that vessel that really is aligned and really authentic to who you are, that makes you and your business successful. And we're going to be talking all about that and human design with Raquel here in just a few minutes. And I'm so excited to see her and to get to interview her and share her with you. So if you're on YouTube, stick around. We'll be right back. And if you're on Zoom, we're going to